Well, hey, greetings, everybody. Welcome to the first Tech Tip Tuesday of the year, 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. And welcome back after an awesome holiday break. My name's Ken Close. I am a Healy World member here since way back in the day, engineer and lover of the product. I'm joined today by my awesome co-host, Jake Barron. Welcome, Jake. How are you?
Hello, Ken, and Happy New Year, everyone. Looking
Happy.
forward to this kickoff for 2025.
Right? How exciting. I love it when there's a new year. It feels all redone, reborn, and we get an opportunity to do something different if we want. So here we go. So you guys all know Jake Barron. Hopefully, if you don't, he is the head of operations here in Americas. And I love having him here from corporate Healy in Florida, as well as we're joined by Chris. Is it Christian tonight?
Yeah, Christian's here tonight from our awesome tech support team.
Awesome. Yay. Welcome, Christian. So Christian will be in the background with the lightning fingers working the chat as well. So make sure you guys put your questions in there. So here's how it works. No different than last year, but might as well tell you all how it goes. This is a chat-based forum where you guys, the audience, the seekers, the wanters of knowledge, put your questions in the chat, and myself and Jake and Christian, we'll answer them. We'll pull them on live on the screen or
Mhm.
on the chat. We'll talk about them, and we'll solve the mysteries. What we talk about here, guys, is gosh, everything from the tech, the apps, the programs, the way it works, the why it works, all the fun stuff around Healy. What we can't talk about is anything around diagnosing disease, disorders, or working around what programs or for what condition. We're not medical doctors or professionals, so we don't talk about those things. We can point you to resources, of course, where you can get that information. But what we're talking about here is the technology and any questions you guys are having. So if that sounds fun, I say let's light up the chat and see what we can do.
Okay, the first question of 2025 comes from Dory. It says, "Is it okay to leave the Mac?" There should be a prize, right, for the first question of 2025. But actually, Dory won a prize on the last episode for the year-end kickoff. So very cool. One of those awesome lanyard cases that we gave away. But question is it okay to leave MagHealy on the charger when not using it after it is charged? So this is a great question because after you're done charging, it stops charging. It doesn't, there's a protection built in to where it actually stops. It's no longer charging past a certain point. But as far as just electronics in general, and even not just specifically the MagHealy, when something's done charging, if you have the ability to take it off the charger, would you say that's a better option? Because you never know what's going to happen. If it's plugged into the outlet or whatever in the charger and you have a lightning strike, I don't know, whatever the case may be, there's always the potential for something to happen at that point, right, Ken?
Yeah. So the understanding around charging devices, a battery is liken it to say a workhorse in the field, right? The workhorse goes out in the field after in the morning, works really hard, comes back, and you feed and water the horse, and then let it rest, right? And it's ready to go to work again. Well, if we just keep the battery on a charger, it goes, let's say your MagHealy is on the charger, it goes to work, right? It does its job. But the battery never really gets a chance to get tired, right? It doesn't get a chance to really draw down. But every time, like Jake said, the charger charges the battery up to its fullest, most optimal point, and then every single time it draws down a little bit, the charger tries to bring it back up and bring it back up and bring it back up. So it discharges a little bit because you've turned it on, you've ran a program, and then the charger tries to bring it right back up. And so you wind up kind of getting a rhythm, right? Or almost an imprint It's better to work a battery to its end limit, right? Now, it's not true of all batteries, but the batteries that we have in these smart devices, as well as in the Healy and the MagHealy, they're designed to actually run all the way down and this is why there's a warning. You know, you see the warnings on the apps, right? It says your battery doesn't have enough charge to run a program. Okay, that's why that's there. Or you'll see why the Healy itself flashes quickly 5 times and then shuts off, right? That means there's not enough power to actually start a program. So these are like indicators, warnings that says plug it back in and charge it all the way back up. There, on occasion, and when I say on occasion, I'm talking about 20% of the time, no more than that. You can leave it on the charger and say maybe run it all night because you're wanting to run like a sleep program or something like that. But not every night, not every day. You want to go ahead and run that fully through its cycle on a regular basis so that it gets a good workout. Okay, hopefully that helps. Just make sure that you're using it fully, charging it all the way up. This is another condition where like you just can't wait to get it back in business and you only charge it for 5 minutes so it just stays on long enough to start a program, right? And then it dies quickly shortly after. So that's, again, not creating a proper rhythm. All right, so make sure you're trying to get through that process of fully charge, fully discharge by using it, and then repeat. Okay. All right, and Christian's putting some content in there, you guys. Take a look.
Yeah, great tips there, Christian. Appreciate that.
Okay. Let's see. Here's another question. A few weeks back, if I heard correctly, how can you extend runtime when running sleep, for example? So again, some variables there are we need to talk about. Of course, the higher the amplitude that you have your MagHealy set on, or your Healy, if you're running a sleep program from the Healy, amplitude has an influence on how fast the battery is drawn. And with the MagHealy, if you have it on position 3 in the power switch, you've got additional draw with the lights. Okay. So that may vary as far as how long you can run it. Extending runtime, if we were talking about that, it might have been under the condition where someone's battery seems to be depleting prematurely or too quickly. And there's ways to kind of reset or offset, kind of do a battery charge reset. And there's a protocol for that. We might have been talking about that. Was there anything else, Jake, that you remember we were talking about runtime?
Yeah, I mean, well, you mentioned, well, especially for a sleep program, there's really no reason to have it in position 3 because the lights and everything, unless you're not distracted by that kind of thing or using a sleep mask or something, whatever. But yeah, I mean, position 2, using it at a lower intensity, type of things would definitely get you a little bit longer run time as well. And then also, Christian, I don't know if you can put the note in there too, but if you always use, speaking of charging, use your MagHealy on the charger and never take it off, there's actually a protection built in to where it won't charge past 60% because of the usage. It's kind of like it's a protection mode essentially, and to remove it from that battery saver mode, whatever you want to call it, you have to remove it from the charger, deplete it, and then fully charge it again as well to kind of reset that there too. So yeah, there's a lot of different features built in to maximize the battery, but really it comes down to the intensity that you're running it at. And yeah, I mean, the biggest difference you'll see if you're running something at 10% versus 100%, you're going to see a difference in the battery life. So
yeah, you got to remember the intensity means how much electron flow. It's still within, like for instance, the Healy itself operates within the microcurrent spectrum, the very, very small amount of electron flow, but you can go from 0% within that boundary to 100% within that boundary. When it's within 100% in that boundary, it's still running within what we call microcurrent intensity. In other words, it's not going to shock you or do a lot of muscle convulsion kind of thing. It doesn't have that much intensity, but it does consume more battery at the higher levels. And with the MagHealy, you're creating a bit of a stronger, more intense magnetic field at the higher intensities. So yeah, it's going to pull a little more power from the battery at the higher intensities than the lower. So, it's one of those fun things you can you experiment with and go, okay, well, I was able to do this intensity for X amount of time, X amount of programs. So just kind of say, today I'm going to experiment with 50%, no more than that, no matter what the program. And remember, each program is going to have a little bit different duration, the time. So figure if you want to play with that, you can do those two parameters, intensity and how long. Kind of track that and you'll see how many programs you get per day. So Christopher's got a question here about, can you expand on the difference between the coil and the wristbands? Yeah, we talk about this a lot, don't we, Jake?
Yeah, it's a great question though. We love to talk about it.
Yeah. And so the Healy really does function in, let's say, three main realms. One realm is the microcurrent, where you're attached either with the leads to wristbands or to sticky pads. And that's actually putting electron flow, real similar to, say, a lamp that you've plugged in and turned on. You've got electron flow making the bulb light up. So you're the body, you're the bulb, you're being charged up, lit up by the electron flow. And so that's actually what's being consumed from the battery. So look at the battery as a bucket of electrons. And when you turn it on and you adjust the intensity, right, then those electrons go into your body. And the intensity is like the faucet of how much is going into the body. And so you can turn the faucet way up and you get a lot of electron flow into your body and then depleting the battery at a faster rate, or turn the intensity down and get a lesser amount. But that's electron flow. This is actual tangible connection to the body, and you've got that electron flow. Now, with the coil, what the coil does is the coil takes that same electron flow, right, and converts it from a electron flowing through a wire conductor into a magnetic field. Okay, so the coil has got this coil looking kind of shape to it. You can kind of see it through the reflection of the light. And so inside, connected from one pin around the coil to the other pin here, is a coil. And when you run electron flow through a coil, it creates a magnetic field. And there's actually two coils in here that are sitting in there kind of 180 degrees off. So they're actually setting two magnetic fields, one going one direction and one that's opposite the other direction. These emissions of magnetic energy coming out of the coil. And that only happens when you attach the coil to the Healy hardware, right? And now you're converting that same electron flow that would have normally gone into your body into magnetic field. And that magnetic field, then you clip the Healy on your body, and that magnetic field emits forward and backward, and you are in the center, in the midst of what we would call a 0-point field. Okay. Marcus Schmika did an amazing explanation of the coil and the realm in which it functions. Okay, so that's the two of the realms, the electron flow into the body with the wires and the wristbands or sticky pads. The other realm is the magnetic field with the coil. The third realm is within the information field, and that's done from the HealAdvisor app. The information field, where it's interfacing through quantum entanglement between the client and the information field or quantum field, merging the two to create an alignment. So that's basically between electron flow and coil. How is it being applied to the body? The body is a walking, talking antenna. So it does receive magnetic emissions, waves, or frequencies. It does receive that. And that reception then is decoded with your body. Your body itself is the intelligence that takes this magnetic wave, this energy, it converts it back to electron flow, and those electrons carry information that speaks to systems, organs, and cells. Okay? All right.
And can you know, of course, you explained perfectly the differences between the two. And then also, a lot of people, when they get the coil, they might find it more convenient to use. You don't have cables or whatever. It's okay. Well, I'm just going to throw on the coil there and go about my day. And it's important to use both. Don't eliminate microcurrent completely. Make sure at least a couple days per week you're still running programs, because whenever you see this chart here, so that, a lot of this is in all of our company presentations, but when you're using the coil, you're not getting these benefits of the microcurrent. So the increased amino acid transport, increased protein synthesis, increased ATP production. When you're using the coil, as Ken explained, it's a different method. There's still benefits. You're still getting benefits to using that, the method of delivering the quantum potential frequencies, but you're not getting the benefits of the microcurrent. So it's definitely good to mix both into some sort of daily and weekly routine there.
Yeah, I definitely highly recommend that. There's science, all kinds of science on what Jake just displayed there, around the microcurrent infusion. It's been used for decades. Healy just does it in a way where it's actually a carrier for frequency information, which is phenomenal, because now we can kind of specifically navigate that into the body, into very specific cell systems. So another added benefit to that microcurrent transmission.
And if you're not familiar with this particular slide, you can find this it's actually in the Healy World Company presentation. So it's available in Academy, and it's also available in back office as part of the presentations sort of category there.
Yeah, and if you go to like, you can go to YouTube, and even if you can like take a look at, say, Marcus Schmika. Just look at Marcus Schmika, and you'll find like a presentation on the coil, how he explains how the coil works. I think it's about a 25-minute, 24-minute presentation that he did. It was a Zoom call he did, oh my gosh, 3 years
Is
ago.
it 2021?
Yeah,
it was like May 2021, June 2021 thing.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. A great explanation. He's slides and shows the science. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's a question about on small senior pets, i.e. dogs. How should you prioritize apps, i.e. experts, for organ challenges? How long between apps, or how many times per day? So again, the animal program has suggestions. So within the app, just as the human apps or the human programs, if you open an app or one of the programs, it gives you frequency per week, like once a day. It gives you information. So does the animal program. But if animals don't necessarily tell us what's going on, do they? I mean, they give us little signs, but if they have to go outside, that you know the language they're speaking to you about. But when we're talking about trying to give them some of these programs, it's good to be more subtle than it is to be more aggressive. Take your time with the pet, especially a small pet. Remember,
definitely, especially when you're using the microcurrent, the lowest intensity possible. I think on the documentation that comes in the animal care, I forget if it's 30 or 40%, but it's do not go above that intensity. It's not something where, oh, my animal's got some big challenges, I'm going to put it at 100% because it's going to work faster or something like that. That's not the case. Definitely much more sensitive to this type of thing than most of us humans. And I have a small senior dog too. One of my little Lexi just turned 14 yesterday. She's a 13-pound dog, 14 years old. So yeah, I know what we're talking about here. And she's been having some challenges too. So.
Well, when it comes to how often or how many per day, so here's my advice. It's no different than the human self-care. When you're applying these microcurrents to your body, I highly recommend that you do some grounding work after every microcurrent program. or even coil program. Do some grounding work. In other words, apply a program and then spend 5, 7, 10 minutes grounding yourself with the earth or grounding mats or something like that. Same thing with the pet. Get them outside, go for a walk, right? Not only would going for a walk qualify as the grounding as long as you're on dirt and not pavement or grass, something like that, but also the movement, because we need to engage the lymphatic system, which is how I would recommend with a human. You get done with a microcurrent program, go ground yourself, do some movement, drink some water, make sure you're hydrated. Right? So these self-care things are extremely important between every microcurrent or coil program. So doing that helps the body acclimate.
Yeah, and the how many times per day, for just like for us, we've had people that come on this call where one program per day was the max that they could do, especially when starting out. So yeah, even if the recommendation might be 2 or 3 per day max, doesn't mean you should start there too. So
Yeah. Let's see. Julie asks, what shape waves does Healy use? So Healy uses a sine wave. Now, let me clarify this for a second. Because the pain program, if you'll notice, the pain program essentially is like most of it's 20 hertz. It's almost like a direct current, right? It's almost like a DC signal from 0 to 20. It would essentially be more like a sawtooth or a square wave. But for the most part, it is a sine wave configuration. So if that helps. So Dory's asking, is there a link for that slide?
I think I can. Hold on a second here. Yeah, I can attach the file actually. Let me do that and make it even easier. So
There you go. Yeah. Now we
okay.
can attach files to the chat, you guys. So
Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully it's not too big for this, but let's see.
Let's see. And then Julie is asking, which group does the new AM program show up in? Are we talking about the within the natural cycle? I'm not sure what
New AM program.
I'm not sure what new AM program you're talking about. If you're talking about the natural cycle, so there are programs within that. There's basically 2 pages there within the natural cycle. So you have one of the pages is all of the different timed programs that it's going to request that you run based on where you are in that cycle. And then the other page essentially is a stabilization daily or a stabilization solar. So again, the natural cycle, it kind of coaches you along as to what to do at what time. If that's what you're talking about.
It said AM boost is what it's called. So
Not sure which one that is. AM boost. I mean, if there's a expert program that was created, it's the one you earn. The AM boost, the one you earn.
the expert programs that we've had available for people to earn recently were the prosperity program, the grief program, and the inner peace program. So I'm not sure about the AM boost actually.
I'm not familiar with it either. So as far as corporate's concerned, the latter part of the year,
but if it's an expert program, which it sounds like it may be created by somebody else, it would be just in the expert area of the the Healy app in the bottom, when you open up the app, the little menu icons there, there's an expert area, which holds all the, it's a Healy one. Okay. Are you talking about bioenergetic boost? Or I'm trying to think of anything that has the name boost.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's got the word boost in it. Bioenergetic. Again, if there's
The
some
only
kind
ones I know of are bioenergetic boost, and there's one in the energy cycle program called boost abundance energy, but I don't know about AM boost. We,
of,
we might be stumped here.
I'm not sure where that one is.
Yeah.
As Jake mentioned, so on when you open your app and you have a menu at the bottom of your page, and in that menu is one called Expert Area. Whether it's a corporate created or a time waiver practitioner created, that's where they show up. Any of the custom programs, if it's a custom program created from, it's a free one that was given by, or not a free one, but something you earned, and it's a custom program, that would also show up in that same page. There can be up to 12 different programs on that page. Okay, so that's where it would be. Let's see. So here's a comment here. It says, every once in a while, charging my MagHealy, I see a heat warning. A heat warning. So if the app, if the app's giving you some of those warnings, so think about this for a second. The charge plate for your MagHealy, right? You can plug anything into the charge plate that has a USB-C. That cord can plug into any kind of a charging block. And it's not recommended to do, it's recommended to do a 2500 milliamp charging block. Some of these charging blocks out there are 5,000 milliamps. They could be too much. So pay attention to that. You can plug any charging block to that cord, and then you're gonna send current power to this charging plate. And if you're overheating or putting too much into the coil, it's going to, especially if you're charging it intensely and you're running high intensity on a program, right? You're really tasking the battery to be a pretty tough interface between those two entities.
Yeah, Christian put some great info into the chat there about this message. That was an update just in the last several months, second half of 2024, as far as that message goes. And I think a lot of us are familiar with that message from our phones. A lot of times if you're charging your phone and you're running navigation in your car and whatever, it gets to the point where it says charging has stopped and will resume once your device, reaches a safe temperature, sort of a thing. Similar concept here to what we're doing with the MagHealy device.
Yeah. If you're charging something with a lot of power and you're also consuming something with a high setting, you're going to get into those times in which there's going to be some overheating. Like Jake said, no different than your smart device. And the other thing too is, if your smart device is in direct sun, no different than with the MagHealy. If it's in like direct sun or exposed to someone, be careful, because it's wintertime in certain areas. You might have a space heater or something. Maybe you're cozy up to the fireplace, right? There's a lot of heat. It's important that you maintain a certain parameter of operating temperature. Okay, so Kenny says, I just got my Healy a few days ago. How do I use it? How do I use the Analyse function to pick the best frequencies customized to me? Okay, great questions there. This is why Healy has got an amazing academy. When we come into Healy, we have a sponsor, someone helps us out that should be able to give us these resources, but there is a Healy Academy that goes into lots of detail, and you could spend hours watching those videos, because it goes into the apps, it goes into science, it goes into theories, it goes into a lot of stuff. if you go to the Healy Academy, let's see. I don't know if anybody's answered anything.
Yeah, so couple things on this. So this is Healy Academy. It's just academy.healy.world. We can put the link into the chat here, but this is as a great starting point. You know, specifically the Analyze app you were talking about. There's a section here, but after you log in, you can pick the Healy app. So this is very extensive onboarding related to first steps, guide for your device, installing, connecting, setting up running programs, troubleshooting, expert area, all kinds of things related to that. And there's also some science here too, how the Healy programs work, which are very cool. Then you can go to the Analyze app section as well. There's a ton of great information about using the different modules, resonance, aura, demo mode settings, you know, deep dive trainings on the meridian module and aura analysis, that kind of thing. And then, you know, there's a very extensive section on the science. If you want to learn more about what we've been talking a little bit on this call, the information field, this is great. Also, there's a whole series of videos here. So you can spend a lot of time in Healy Academy, just kind of maybe watch a few videos per day to get up to speed. And then also, a great place to go is, if you're new and haven't really gone through this process yet, is do one of our onboarding sessions. Our onboarding specialist, Henry Pena, does a great job. If you go to HealyOnboarding.com, and I'll put the link in the chat too here. You can use this link also. If you want to do one just on the Healy device, you can do getting started with the Healy. If you want to do specifically how to use the Analyze app, you can just click on this. Next availability for this is on next Tuesday, the 14th, but you would just click on this, pick the time, and then you can register for that particular onboarding session. You'll get a link to join and that case too. So highly recommend these. I would do both the Analyze app one and then also the getting started with your Healy device. Again, but that one's done every single day. You'll see next week there too. So there's lots of 3 p.m., 12 p.m., 10 a.m., 6 p.m., 10. So there should be a date and time that works for you there. But I would go through both. The getting started with the Healy device, then also the Analyze app training would be a great good place to get started there.
Yeah, the Healy is so extensive in what it can do. You know, you gotta, people learn on their own pace. And so I literally spent several hours with somebody before, not too long ago, working on how to train and understand, and it can get pretty deep. So as Jake mentioned, that academy has amazing things you can get in there and spend some time. Okay.
I just put the links in the chat there for you, Kenny.
And then also, so to the question around, you know, like what to do for a specific condition in your body. You know, you've got some condition going on. There is an app you can see off my shoulder here, the HealAdvisor. Okay, you can see this. It's got the wavy line. The HealAdvisor. This app right here is, you know, there's 3 main apps that I suggest everybody have. It's the blue app, which is the HealAdvisor Analyze, the pink app, which is the Healy 2, and then the HealAdvisor. Those 3. The HealAdvisor, when you open it, there's a spot that calls the HealAdvisor search. It's a block that just says search. Click on that, and there's a search bar. You can put in any word, any condition you're experiencing, and it'll come up with a group of programs. The actual pink app, the Healy 2 app programs, it'll tell you what will help align those conditions. Okay, so load that app, sign in, get it running for yourself, and then put your words in there and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's phenomenal. Okay. Yeah, we just, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, you know, we're not medical professionals, so we don't recommend anything for conditions, but that database can. That was created by Healy for that purpose. Okay. I know it's when you first get your Healy, man, there's a lot. It takes a minute. I recommend people start in one spot. Every edition that you get comes with the Healy 2 app, right? The microcurrent and coil app applied type programs. Okay. Start there. Start there. And even if you've got the gold edition, you're going to have a couple of pages there that you can play with as far as programs. The gold cycle page is the very first one. It's designed for every human. You can almost intuitively look at the words. There's 7 programs there and go, what do I need now? And then pick one of those, give it a shot. Okay. Let's see. Is there any reason, so Julie's asking, is there any reason the deep cycle or deep cycle holistic wouldn't show up in the pro? No, I mean, yeah, either deep cycle H or deep cycle, depends on which pro. Let's see.
Yeah, Chris, this is there's sort of like a period. So a lot of people refer to the grandfather resonance as a pro also there. And there was a period of time, I believe, where after the July 7th, 2021, because Deep Cycle was included before, and then after that, everyone got HealAdvisor Search as part of their device there too. And I think there was a very small window where Deep Cycle may not have been included with the Pro there, from what I understand. So I guess, I mean, Christian could take a look at your device. If you send them the serial number privately there in the chat here, he could probably give us some more detail to you on which edition and when, and if it should have which particular programs or not.
Yeah, Julie, definitely send Christian the one that says Healy Tech Support. Send to that person your serial number, and then you can see what's going on there. What do you have? Oh, so you don't have the serial number. Okay, so you're asking on behalf of someone else. So again, as Jake mentioned, there's been a lot of evolutionary shifts within the Healy, and there's certainly what is referred to today as the Pro. Once upon a time was essentially the resonance. It's not the same exactly, not exactly the same, but it had a lot of programs, and over time that has evolved. Healy's made some changes. So, the only way to find out, I guess if you don't have like a date of purchase, then it would be through customer service with the serial number to see what's allocated. If a program shows up one week and it's gone the next week, I would definitely contact customer service with your serial number, the user ID, and then just see what's going on.
Yeah, and if you're asking on behalf of someone else, if they're not available for this call on Tuesday evenings, have them just go to our live chat function on the Healy shop, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They can just go there, us.healy.shop, and then they can ask themselves. And that would be a pretty quick chat there to get that answered.
It really happens very quickly. I love that chat. They're very quick, very responsive, and it generates a ticket that you can refer to, and they can email back and forth, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question about when do you use the blue dot and you pick a particular set of app in the group versus running each one in the pink. Okay. So as I mentioned, there's 3 ways primarily that Healy operates, right? With the microcurrent and wristbands, or the microcurrent wristbands and sticky pads is one group all in itself. It's all the microcurrent application. Second modality, coil. That's magnetic application. Third modality is information field. All right. The first 2 function and operate with the Healy 2 app, the pink app. The second one is an analytical engine right? That uses the client record. Okay. In other words, a client can be a person, an animal, a plant, a car, a building, but it uses the client record. In other words, it's all the identifying markers of that client. There's each different client asks for different information, and then it records a vibration of the client, and boom, now that entity is a client record. All right, that's held in a database. Then you can use another database to see what would align that client. Okay, that's the Blue app. That's the HealAdvisor 2 app. That all uses information field technology, quantum entanglement, noise generator, conscious entanglement kind of functions. All that science is in the academy. You can understand a little bit more about that. But how do you know when to use it? Well, you can essentially look at what you have in the Pink app, like pages and pages of programs. You can go in there and say, well, what do I want to do? And intuitively make your choices, right? Or, as I mentioned earlier, you can go to the HealAdvisor search app. That's this wiggly line one that's off my shoulder. And you can put in a condition you're trying to address. And it's going to give you and recommend some microcurrent programs. Or you can go to the Blue app and use the information field as your analysis engine. So, it's like, okay, understand that the Blue app works from an objective information field application. There's no opinion there, right? It's using consciousness and quantum entanglement to decide what will align the client the best. You choose a database, it chooses the components of the database to work with you, period. Okay. So if you've got the content in there about the client, AKA even yourself, so there's the information about the client, perfect. Then choose a database in which you want to work with to help you out. And those databases are everything from the microcurrent programs. You can have it tell you which ones to do or to use. Or there's minerals. There are things like herbs, tons, tons of things in those databases, even the coaching profile. Okay. My suggestion, again, going back to the academy, because it starts to tell you what these apps are for. Okay, so Janice says, hey, the chat is awesome. And so I'm assuming talking about the chat on the shop page, right? That's pretty awesome. Okay. Jenna also says, I have a downline person whose name was misspelled. So again, customer service can help you with that, but you're going to need to make sure you put the misspelled name in there so they can find it, right? And then work with them to get it corrected. Okay. Julie put in an advertisement for that AM boost. You're muted there, Jake.
I'll say I just took a look. It looks like it's something, an extra program that was available in the APAC region. So sometimes there are different programs available in different regions around the world, and this is one in particular. That's why I guess I had not heard of it, but yeah, there are some programs here that we haven't been available in some of the other regions too. But it's interesting, and definitely we'll take a look in more detail there. But for now, that program is not available anywhere. It hasn't been available for any incentives or anything like that here in the Americas.
So Jenna's having a hard time helping out. So thanks for sharing that with us so we can actually know. Again, when it comes to things online, our market and the other markets, everything online is accessible because it's online, right? It's a YouTube. But I'm glad we got that cleared up. It's something that's not necessarily for the US market. But Jenna is saying that this person that she's working with is having a hard time getting a misspelled name corrected through customer service. So if you have a ticket number, can you get that to Christian in the background there? Maybe Christian can see what's going on. If you have a ticket number from this person, where is this person? Invite him to the call. Get him over here. Let's see if we can get this corrected. Okay. Then there's also an additional question here about what's the difference between the deep cycle and the deep cycle H. The
It's really just the first three programs. Everything else is the same, and they're very, very similar as well. But it was a minor change that was made a few years ago, and from that point on, everything was deep cycle H instead of deep cycle. So
yeah, deep cycle had like a 1, 2, 3, like a ramping up of microcurrent infusion, right? And that was shifted and changed into deep cycle H, where that's not there anymore. Okay. Okay, what else is there here? I just got, okay, that one's answered. So Jenna's getting the ticket now, and we'll see if or if the person can get on the call. Yes, that's the best thing. You know, I understand, you know, when in Healy we've got leaders that are trying to really support their people, and thank you very much for that. But we also need to get those people involved in the repair and or figuring things out. It is kind of a challenge to do things third party, especially with customer service, because they're, you know, they want that their obligation is to the individual member, right? They want to support the leaders, but they still have an obligation to the individual member to make sure that, you know, they're protected. And then, so it's best to have them here and get on right away. All right. Okay. So Jenna is getting this person some help. He's been dealing with customer service for the last 3 days. So yeah, so bring them here. I mean, let's do what we can. We can do as much as we can here. This is why it's great to have a customer service representative here right on the call with us.
We'll get it figured out. There's probably must be some sort of misunderstanding there, because it shouldn't take 3 days.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Let's see, where are we? So thank you for putting in there's a picture in there, guys, of the deep cycle and the deep cycle H side by side shot. So you can kind of see what that looks like. It's pretty much the same, except for, like Jake said, first three.
First three, yeah.
Yep.
So it's I love that we can share these files and images in the chat. Super helpful.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just initially it was a 1, 2, 3. Now the deep cycle was created for a lot of it for the NASA project, right? For astronauts and such. And but anyway, it's a pretty cool background. Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's see.
Where are we? You know, one of the things I want to suggest too is the way I use the microcurrent, like deep cycle. Remember, it had that first application, second application, third application, kind of getting the body ramped up and acclimated with microcurrent. Okay, if you have the professional, the professional has a bioenergetic vitalization page, and it has regeneration 1, 2, and 3. Now, again, working within like the stem cell type of application, but again, a way of ramping up the body's microcurrent interface between the programs and a series of acclimation, getting the body, you know, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I use that. I recommend that a lot. when people are getting started with, say, a professional, and they have all that kind of stuff. What do I do? But like I mentioned before, no matter what edition you have, start with the gold cycle page. If you're not sure where to go and you have no support in out there and you don't even know what to do, start with the gold cycle page. And if you take a look at the gold cycle page, there's 7 programs on there, 7. And they're laid out on the page, not like in line. They're laid out in almost like a shape, a teardrop shape. And if you take and draw a circle, if you just make a circle, starting from the top and moving down to the left in a big circle, it's kind of like a very distinct pattern. And that's how I always get people to start. Start at the top, work around the circle, and do 1 a day. Just do 1 a day. Just do it once, 1 a day. Okay, get your body used to it, and adjust and play with the intensity. Folks, I want you to remember the idea is not to sit there and feel the pins and needles or because you can get some sensations. I mean, all kinds. That's not the objective here. This is a subtle, subconscious, behind the scenes kind of infusion. Okay. So be sure that go ahead and adjust it to where you might be able to feel the tingles, but then back it off a click, right? Back it off 1, wherever that is. And remember that the different frequencies are going to feel different. So you need to play with it. I can't really answer everything for each individual because you're an individual. You're going to experience this differently. Okay. So.
Yeah, I love the gold cycle programs. I use them several times per week. It's the sort of the basis for a lot of everything else going on at Healy, but they're great. There's only it's not a full program group. There's not 12 programs, but each one of them are awesome. So yeah. And then also, Ken, you were talking about the bioenergetic vitalization, and you're talking about the Regeneration I, Regeneration II, Regeneration III, and always refer people back to our trusty Healy app manual, because if you just saw those programs, if you're just scrolling through the Healy 2 app and okay, 1, 2, 3, what do I do with these? Yeah, you can do an analysis in the Analyse app specifically for bioenergetic vitalization. But you'll see here in the Healy app manual, which is available within the app itself or in Healy Academy or in back office. Lots of places you can access this. Definitely recommend to download a copy on your smart device. It's easier to scroll through. But you look at the introduction. This is on page 32. Bioenergetic vitalization says Regeneration I, II, and III are programs that are based on each other. Each of them should be used for 1 week, 3 weeks in total. So, hey, you go through the process. Regeneration I, Regeneration II, Regeneration III, and then you can move on to some of the other programs that are listed here in this particular module.
Yeah, I recommend it all the time when people are saying, I just don't even know what to do. I don't know where to start. Okay, start with the gold cycle. I don't want to do this gold cycle. Okay, well, let's start with the bioenergetic vitalization. Let's get your body used to it, right? In a simple way, and so we use what Healy's designed to do so. Okay, the gold cycle page. That if you look at that, like I mentioned, how the programs are laid out. If you do like you're familiar with the Fibonacci circles, right? If you kind of go with that pattern around that page, you'll see how to kind of run those programs in a sequence. And if you look at how it's laid out, the very top one is called pure. So it's designed for any human body. And I promise you, most every human body I know of has toxic burden, some sort. And pure is one of the very beginning programs to help clear that, right?
I'm not quite
It's
sure.
at the top of that. It's at the top of that program, or the top of that page. So it goes pure. The next one is care. Well, hey, who wouldn't want a little extra care? And then some energy, right? And then just go around that, make that a circle, and you'll see how it kind of flows throughout your week. Just 1 a day. for a week. Okay. So it looks like Christian's working with Jenna. Okay. Just waiting for apparently Jason to send a photo. Yeah, let's get this solved for you guys. I love it. See, we can get this fixed, can't we?
Yeah.
And you know, I always encourage everyone to invite. I mean, you now know what the call is like, right? So we're pretty easygoing, and we're here to serve. So
Yeah.
I always have you invite your people, and let's have a discussion.
Yep. Everyone attending this call, you run the call, like we're just answering whatever you all ask here. So the more questions that come in, the more diverse questions, anything, we cover a lot of different topics here on this call too. So
Yes, 100%.
that's actually not the link for the chat for this call. I'll put it into the chat, but it's HealyTTT.com. Also, actually, if you want to just cover all your bases, you can just send people to Healy Americas events.com. So that's this. Let me share my screen again. But this is Healy Americas events.com. You'll see here January 2025. And there's links here. If you click on this, it takes you directly to this meeting. This meeting doesn't change from week to week. It's the same link every single time. You don't need to register. You just click on this, join us at 8 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. If for some reason we need to cancel one particular episode, that would also be reflected here on the calendar as well. So you can go to HealyTTT.com, or you can just, if you forget the link and can't find it, I'll go to HealyAmericasEvents.com, and then you can just click on these. And then also, we only have a few minutes, actually 2 minutes left, but this Saturday, if you haven't yet, join us for the 2025 kickoff, the global kickoff for Healy World Meets the World, our big virtual event. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Tons of great announcements, new product announcements as well. Ton of great speakers. There'll be so much presented there. I think it's going to be around 2.5 hours long or so. But definitely, this is the link here to join us for that call. It's available on this calendar also. So this is this Saturday, January 11, 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a lot of fun to kick off the year.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Save the links. Go Healy Americas events.com.
Yep.
So save that, write that down somewhere, because that's like Jake said, even the link to go to the Saturday event is there. It's all, that's a great, like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
So hey you guys, you know what? We're almost the end of our hour. What do we got left here? Here's somebody saying when on Facebook, Healy, it declines my comments. Yeah, well, the Facebook page is not one where we can post on it. That's a corporate space. That it's just an information going out to the world. I think you can like. I don't know that you can comment though. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kenny doesn't see the Saturday's event. Also, anything for kidney health. Kenny, I love your questions. Remember, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the HealAdvisor Analyse app and put your in the bar at the top. Remember, what's that app look like? Right here on my shoulder. Go to the app store and get the HealAdvisor Analyse app, the one with the wiggly lines like this. Load it on your app, on your phone or your smart device. Log in, and then you're going to see blocks on that app. One's called HealAdvisor Search. Click on that. The HealAdvisor Search. It's amazing. There'll be a bar at the top of the screen. You can put your word in there, whatever the word is, whatever condition, whatever body part, right? and bam, you're going to get a group of programs. Click on the group and it'll tell you the name of the program from the pink app to use. It's fun. Works good. And by the way, every time Healy presents you with information, if it's more than one component or piece of information, it is in order of priority. So the top program is going to be the most important one to do right now. And then number 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. Okay. Hey, Jake, I'm matching you now, by the way. Got the obsidian. I'm loving it. So
Nice.
cool. I'm loving the VIP group. Yeah, I highly recommend everybody. There's a way you can earn an obsidian this month, so get out there and earn it. And let's have an obsidian club, everybody.
That sounds good. We'll have a super exclusive Tech Tip Tuesday VIP Obsidian Club.
VIP obsidian style. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Hey, thank you all for being here, joining us for the very first one of the year. You guys are the pioneers for this year. I appreciate y'all. If you liked what was in the chat, you guys can save the chat if you're on your PC or laptop. Down in the chat bar, there's 3 little dots. Click on those 3 dots at the end of our call. Well, click on those 3 dots. There'll be a drop down window that says save chat. At the end of our call, you'll get a message on your screen that says save chat and you can save it. Okay. Jake, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you very much, you
And
guys.
thank you all for your awesome questions.
Great questions. I hope you guys solve some mysteries and come see us again next week for some more. Talk to you later, everybody. Bye for now.